let me bring up an interesting video that I have not seen that I thought was very interesting. And I know it's it's video game related, so we're probably going to lose a lot of viewers because people are like, I'm here for the drama. I don't care about video games. I thought this was fun. All right. So sue me. No, don't. All right. This is called, I heard about this from an article. I watched like a minute of it. I was like, oh, I actually like this a lot. I want to play this on a stream at some point. This is called, I spent 1 year remaking Super Mario World in 3D. All right. This is the kind of stuff that's right up my alley. So has anyone seen this? I'm sure. It was 10 days ago. It already has over 1 million views. So I'm sure plenty of people already saw this.
In this video,
Subarashi Time says Smash doesn't play video games.
I'm going to reimagine the original Super Mario World in 3D. I'm going to make absolutely everything in levels 1, 2, and even Yoshi's Island itself, starting with this guy. So the original Mario is made up of a lot of 2D sprites, which means the first thing I had to do was model every single one in 3D. This took days, but as soon as I saw his animations, it definitely felt worth the effort. Now our Mario can run, jump, sprint with his little Italian legs, crouch, and even soar through the air when he sprint jumps, just like he can in the original. After that, I made Mario's ability to jump and spin jump on his enemies, as well as his HP system. So Super Mushrooms transform him into Super Mario, taking a hit turns him back into Small Mario, and the second hit is game over. Now that Mario is ready, let's start making our first of 2 levels, level 1-2. I started by converting all the 2D platform tiles into 3D and then use those to make a level building tool. This lets us build this massive base platform that we need for this level, along with the smaller platforms that go on top. For the background, I placed this tree asset.
That's the other thing. It's like, is Nintendo going to try to shut this down if they find out about this? Because this is the kind of stuff that, like, Nintendo really should have like a department for this kind of stuff. Nintendo is smart, but sometimes they keep it a little too close to the vest. I always talk about how I'm impressed with how Nintendo only has, was it like 9,000 employees worldwide compared to Ubisoft having almost 20,000. Imagine if Nintendo opened up a retro studios, but an actual retro department at their company that focused on reimagining their retro games. And that was their sole function, is to do stuff like this. That would ignite so much more excitement and coverage and bring Nintendo like right back on the map if they did it right. I'm telling you.
I made a few hundred times until it looked like a treetop canopy. Then I added the classic Mario clouds and changed the color of the sky to feel like a sunset. And after adding some finishing touches like the fog and falling leaves, the environment is ready.
Yeah, exactly. Too much
Time to
art
start
at
making
Nintendo.
everything in the level, starting with the Koopas. The first thing we need to do for these guys is make their movement AI. So let's have them patrol along a path. Then, if Mario gets in range, they break away from their patrol path and start chasing Mario. But if Mario gets far enough away from them,
this is so well done.
Chasing Mario and organize themselves back into their patrol path. Unless they literally have 0 IQ and get stuck on everything. But that won't happen because I gave them the ability to traverse most platforms. So Mario can defeat Koopas with a single spin jump. But if he normal jumps on one, it drops its shell and becomes a shell.
So this is a...
I didn't know.
He made 1 year...
But if Mario...
this is Bobby Ivar. He spent 1 year remaking this game. This looks so good for 1 year work, like from scratch.
Mario walks into it while it's vulnerable. He actually kicks it automatically.
Finish him. Fatality.
But if it somehow survives the Wiggly stage, it looks for a shell to jump back into and becomes a full Koopa again.
Mario it doesn't even feel like it's an indie game. It's like some sort of cross between Nintendo and an indie
We also
game.
need to make shells bounce off of any walls or blocks they hit, as well as add the UI for the game and the score system.
Wow.
There's actually a slight difference between the red and green Koopas. The red ones will avoid cliffs and turn around, while the green ones, well... Alright, the Koopas are ready and look great in the level. But there's one more problem. Since the Koopas immediately run at you the second you're in range, you never get an opportunity to get that perfect one-up with the shell like you can in the original. So to fix this, we're going to have these Koopas ignore Mario until he jumps on one. Then they'll panic for a second before chasing Mario like normal. Now you'll always have a chance to get that nostalgic one-up.
That's smart.
And next, I started working on this treasure chest
Damn.
that I don't remember being here. Mario, go check it out. Oh yeah, it's the sponsor of today's video, AG1. AG1 is a daily health drink that's packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food source ingredients,
wine in it?
with prebiotics and probiotics for gut health, plus antioxidants and functional mushrooms to help support your immune system. No wonder Mario loves his mushrooms so much.
Holding the sign up.
Finish him.
All this makes it one of the easiest things you can do for your health, which is exactly why it's been a part of my morning routine for quite a while now. My personal favorite thing is how convenient it is to make. All I need to do is pour some powder into a water bottle, and just like that, I have clean energy and peace of mind knowing all my nutritional bases are covered for the day. And honestly, if it's good enough for a 7-time Olympic gold medalist, it's definitely good enough for me. So, what are you waiting for?
I don't know, guys. Powder and water always sketches me out.
Use the link in my description or scan the QR code to get a free bottle of vitamin D3 and K2, plus a welcome kit that comes with 4 free items with your first subscription.
I'd rather fill up on
AG1.
wine.
Thank
looks
you
way
to
too
AG1
healthy.
for sponsoring this segment of the video. All right, time to make Yoshi. Let's add another 30 Yoshi frames to the pile of models I already made. I'm getting faster at making these, but it still took me easily 10 hours. Maybe I should stop making these models 1 pixel at a time. But like I said before,
That's actually really fast. 10 hours to build all of those pixel by pixel. Here's the other thing. I would not have the patience to do this as a developer. I would be like, all right, I'm going to wait for AI to catch up and just tell it to do this for me. Because I don't have the patience to do pixel by pixel shit. Although we don't know. Maybe he did use AI for this.
the results are always worth it, especially after coding Mario's ability to ride Yoshi, which looks amazing. Now it's time to add Yoshi's jump attack, which defeats most enemies in 1 hit. Yoshi also takes the first hit for Mario, but then he'll endlessly run away while crying until you manage to catch him. Most importantly though, jumping off Yoshi gives you an extra boost, so you can, as God intended, sacrifice him to make those extra long jumps. I also coded Yoshi's tongue. He can eat stuff now, and I can add as many as I want, like 2 tongues.
Oh yeah, this guy should, like, literally this guy should just send his game to Nintendo and say, hey, I want to work for you guys. Here's my game. Now, knowing Nintendo, they'd be like, yeah, no, we're not hiring you. And also, here's a C&D.
Or however many.
And then Nintendo will just make the same game. Exactly, Kira.
This is. Based on the color of shell Yoshi eats, he gains different abilities, like spitting out a green shell or fire breathing if you eat red shells. Koopas are also supposed to drop coins when they get hit by fireballs. So let's make the coins real quick. Collecting 100 regular coins or 5 or more dragon coins grants Mario an extra life. Now let's try this again with a couple more Koopas. Next, I made the berries and the berry bushes. The green berries are only found in the final 2 levels, and add 20 seconds to the timer for each berry Yoshi eats. After Yoshi eats 2 pink berries, lay an egg that hatches into a small cloud, which drops 10 of these bonus coins. If Mario collects all 10, he's rewarded with a 1-up mushroom. The red berries are the most common type. If Yoshi eats 10 red berries, he plops down an egg that hatches into a super mushroom. Then I gave Mario the ability to run through bushes and place them in the level along with the 2 shellless Koopas and coins that go.
This looks
After that,
awesome.
I made him place the question mark block. You can give coins, super mushrooms, 1-up mushrooms, or whatever I want. And the last one's important because this block spawns Yoshi. I know Baby Yoshi and the different colors are not in the first 2 levels, but after seeing how adorable they looked, I just had to make them. Mario can feed Baby Yoshi by picking him up and running into enemies. He can even kick Baby Yoshi at them, which is a bit mean, but after eating 5 times, he grows into a big Yoshi. This is the only way to get red, yellow, or blue Yoshis in the game. Red Yoshis will always shoot fireballs no matter what color shell they eat. And the next two have different powers that are only active while there's a shell in their mouth. For the yellow Yoshis, they create earthquakes whenever they land after a jump. And the blue Yoshis have the ability to fly, so you can technically just skip the entire level and fly straight to the end if you wanted to. And now if you combine them all together, we have a flying, earthquake-making, fire-breathing, shell-spitting Cthulhu of a Yoshi.
That's awesome.
Okay, now that I got that out of my system, let's move on to the Lookout Chuck. This guy has 3 HP and is immune to Mario's jumps for a brief second after each hit. But shells and Yoshi fireballs are super effective, defeating him in only 1 hit. Once Lookout Chuck spots Mario in range, he charges at Mario in a straight line. But this is a bit too easy to dodge in 3D, and I didn't want to just keep on increasing Lookout Chuck's speed until he becomes some sort of anime supervillain. So, to give old Chuck a chance, he now follows Mario as he charges. This is looking good, but I still don't like how he faces away from Mario and then instantly turns and charges. So, I gave him a little hop to help visualize his attack. And after adding a couple more things like these coins and this checkpoint, this part is done and we can move on to the Monty Mole.
It works.
The personality of the Monty Moles is all in the way they move.
Like, if you told me like someone would make a 3D version of Super Mario World, I'd be like, it doesn't make any sense. You can't do that. And then you see this, and be like, oh yeah.
So instead of having them run straight towards Mario, let's have them trail and drift as they approach. This really helps make them feel pesky and way too fast for their own good, which fits them perfectly. Monty Mole also has the ability to hop, and that's when I ran into this problem. They would jump on each other a bit too much and form into some kind of boss from Elden Ring. I'm not going to place this many in the level, but still, they shouldn't stack on top of each other at all.
That's awesome. I don't know, I kind of like that.
So, I give them a separate, taller capsule collision that only blocks other Monty Moles, and that solved the problem. Also, you don't just find Monty Moles out in the wild. They live in these dens that they spawn from whenever Mario gets too close.
Craig.
And after placing a reasonable amount of spawners in the level, I started working on the spinning blocks. When Mario hits them, they either spin for a bit before returning back to normal, or they turn into empty blocks if they have anything in them, like these beanstalk ladders. On top of that, if they're empty and Super Mario spin jumps on them, they crumble. Now we can place the spinning
not
blocks
only
in
is
the
this
level,
cool, but the way he put this video together is magnificent.
Where the cloud blocks wait, and he can collect some more coins. And after adding these coins in the dotted blocks, this section is completed.
Looks like it's got
we can move on to
tough
the
to
cave.
tell the depth perception a little bit, though. Look at
So
that.
we're all on the same page. Here's what the original cave looks like. The game has such a timeless look. I really hope I could do it justice. I started by adding the cave textures and lighting. Then I made the green exit pipe and placed some rocks around the edges. After that, I used the single pillar asset to make the background. I also placed some in the foreground to help frame the cave.
That just reminded me, I want to show you guys.
To make the flying
At the arcade I was at yesterday, they had Super Mario World set up in front of the arcades. They had it on one of the monitors. They had a Super Nintendo Mini or Classic or whatever, so you could just play it at the arcade because everything was free play in there. I was like, this is awesome.
block, we just need to combine the question mark block with the wings that we already made, then make them fly along a path, and most importantly, they need to lose their wings and turn into an empty block when hit. Seeing them fly around makes them feel like they're alive. So I thought it would be interesting to include them in the background as a migrating colony of flying blocks. Now if you look closely enough, you can see them flying around. Next, I made the blue block. When Mario grabs one, he has 10 seconds to use it to hit a flying block before it crumbles. And with that, here's what the cave looks like with everything put together. I'm really happy with how it turned out.
That's smart with the
move on to
shadows.
the next section.
That's really smart with the shadows. I was like, how would you be able to know where they are?
The piranha plant. The piranha plant was a pretty easy one to make. The only thing it does is jump up when Mario is not in range. Pretty simple. That, and Mario takes no damage if he spin jumps on it or while he's on Yoshi. It's a shame we can just easily walk past it in 3D though.
Yeah.
Maybe I can add a dragon coin to bait Mario into the piranha plant. Or I can turn the pipe into a piranha plant spawner. This way it's impossible to run past it without consequence. Or my personal favorite solution, I can give the piranha plant some piranha guns. but I decided adding a whole row of them is probably the best option.
That's a good
After
idea.
all, it gets the job done, and I like seeing more piranha plants. Next
That's a
up
really
is the
good idea.
P-switch. When Mario jumps on it, we just need to turn all the regular coins into empty blocks for 10 seconds. And when the timer ends, sorry Mario, let's place the P-switch between these spinning blocks. Add the coins, along with the charging chuck and the exit gate that he guards. When Mario crosses the exit gate, the level ends and this
That is
iconic sequence
awesome.
plays. The only issue is, it's really complicated to remake perfectly in 3D. So, I'll say
Do you ever think we'd reach a point in technology for those that were old enough to be playing this when it first came out to see the game digitally created on a screen with someone's remaking it in 3D watching it? this is kind of mind-blowing.
save it for the end of the next level, which we're going to make in a bit. That being said, we finished everything for this level, and we can move on to the next exciting challenge, Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island is at legendary levels of nostalgia, so I'm going to try my absolute best to make it look proper in 3D. Let's start by making all the props. There are about 15 of them, and I made sure to place them as accurately as possible to the original. Then I added the water, which turned out to be one of my favorite parts. After that, I placed the different types of foliage and added the moving elements like the clouds and chimney smoke from Yoshi's
That's
house,
amazing.
along with some VFX. Next, I added Mario's level selector and made the animations that play after beating level 2 and level 1, which we're going to make in a moment.
You can tell how much
What we need
work
to do
went into
next
this.
is
This
capture this
insane.
view that we're looking at right now and project it onto this 3D plane. Add the background and space it out a bit to get this very important cast shadow. Then anchor a camera here for our perspective. And now, when we rotate the 3D plane, we get this really interesting illusion. Kind of like we're looking through a window or a portal into Yoshi's
That is
Island. Now we just
amazing.
need to add the text
Damn.
along with Mario. In the original, this Mario reflects your current state.
I love this
Small, or whatever power-up you have. But for some reason, the original doesn't show Mario riding Yoshi here, even though he's shown riding Yoshi on the map. I didn't want to perpetuate this discrimination, so I added all the different colors of Yoshi to the UI. Also, did you know Luigi was a playable character in this game? And he was literally just Mario's sprite, but green. So, I'll just copy Mario over, make him objectively worse, and we have Luigi. And now that we completed Yoshi's Island, let's move on to our next level.
You mean
1-1.
objectively better?
I
but
remember
go
this
on.
level being packed with so much fun things as a kid that I honestly can't wait to see how this turns out. I started by making this stylized
Thank you for
fog
sharing
and
it, Garrett.
simple blue sky. Then added these polka dotted blue hills and pale clouds, along with some VFX like wind lines and god rays. You know, the usual. Alright, I can't wait to make all the new things in this level, so let's get started with the blue Shellless Koopa. The blue variant of the Shellless Koopa is the most powerful type. They're thicker and faster than the other types. On top of that, the blue Koopaling is the only enemy that has the ability to stop throwable objects like shells and kick them right back at Luigi. What an absolute menace. But this does come at the cost of them not being able to jump back into their shells. One of them slides down the slope right when the level starts. And unlike the other types, Luigi doesn't just instinctually kick it in the face when it's vulnerable. You take damage instead. Foul creature.
Is
Let's
that
add this
true?
dragon
Is that the
coin
same
and
with
move
the
on to
actual
Rex.
games?
Rex is a pretty simple enemy. When Luigi jumps on one, it suffers tremendous brain damage, but gains the ability to run a bit faster. And the second hit puts the poor thing out of its misery. Also, if Luigi's feeling merciful, a single spin jump sends it to the afterlife. So let's add a couple of them here, along with the flying block that has one of my favorite power-ups in it, the Fire Flower. For the Fire Flower, I started by creating its color palette for
That's a
both
good
Luigi
point. How are you
and
gonna
Mario.
fly in this
Then I
game?
made the Fireball model, along with its material and VFX. I thought it would be interesting to experiment with the Fireball's physics, but I didn't like how they would just slowly stop bouncing and eventually just roll on the ground. So I just kept it like the original. Also, Mario is only supposed to shoot fireballs out of his right hand, but instead, I made him switch his firing hand with each shot and made this seamlessly blend with all of Mario's running and jumping animations. The other thing is, when Fire Mario spin jumps, he shoots
I
two
hope it
fireballs,
does the game.
but
I'm
this
curious
feels a little bit lackluster in 3D.
I haven't
Luckily,
seen the
I coded
video
it to
before.
easily shoot any amount of fireballs we want, like 10, 100, or
Damn.
as much as my computer can handle.
Jeez.
As fun as it is to see Mario shoot fireballs as much as his little Italian heart desires, it's probably best that we cap the max amount of fireballs alive at once to 8. Oh, and I forgot to mention, extra power-ups are stored up here in the item slot and are dropped down whenever you want or automatically when damage is taken. Next, I added these green pipes, some more dino dudes, and a few more that run around these slanted platforms to fill the space better, and another dragon coin. This next part of the level has some piranha plants, as well as this cheeky mushroom that pops out of this bush whenever Luigi walks too close. And this pipe surrounded by stone blocks, which leads to another cave. But this one has some coins in it instead of flying blocks. Also, this cave exit leads Luigi through a launch pipe, which sends him flying
hold up.
over some
Back
piranha
it up.
plants and into
Back it up. Wait. He just
a cave. But this one has some coins.
What?
Some
Hold
piranha
on.
plants, as well as this cheeky mushroom that pops out of this bush whenever Luigi walks too close. And this pipe
Okay, so the blocks are directly on top of the pipe here, so you have to break them to get into the
surrounded
pipe.
by stone blocks, which leads to another cave. But this one has some
And this one, you just walk right through it and get it.
coins in it instead of flying blocks. Also,
Yeah, why is he playing Donkey Kong Country music? That is really weird. And that also makes me sad because Mario World music is incredible.
So, this cave exit leads Luigi through a launch pipe, which sends him flying over some piranha plants and into a checkpoint. We skipped over what the message block does in the last level, so this time, let's see what it does. Interesting. This platform has a lot more wrecks to a checkpoint. We skipped over what the message block does in the last level, so this time, let's see what it does.
Don't just blindly hand over all your coins to Bowser. After all, he only sees as much as you allow. Read How to Commit Coin Evasion 101 for more info.
Interesting. This platform has a lot more Rexes and a slope that Luigi can slide down. I did run into a sliding bug though, but eventually I managed to fix it and made Luigi damage enemies while sliding. Moving on, we have the Bonsai build. I really wanted Bonsai build to look exactly like his original sprite, so I modeled him without using any voxels. That, and I may be a little bit traumatized from making more than 100 models 1 pixel at a time. Anyways, all we need to do is make them fly in a straight line,
That's
add
great.
the trivia effects, and have them die if Luigi jumps on them. Now here comes the challenging part with the bonsai builds. How do we spawn them into the level? We know that he spawns off screen in the original. The problem is, in 3D, we can see what's ahead of us, so they can't just spawn out of thin air. Originally, I thought the only way to solve this problem was to add cannons, but there's a couple of problems. One cannon is way too easy to walk past, and a whole row takes up way too much space. So I tried making bonsai builds follow Luigi so they can provide more of a challenge. And I wouldn't need to place as many cannons. But ultimately, I still don't like how I'm adding any cannons at all when they're not in the level in the original. So here's my final solution. Now they spawn from underneath the fog
That's
and
smart.
curve onto the level. I really like how this turned out. So I added the rest of the bonsai builds throughout the level, like at the start, and this bit near the end. Next, I added the rest of this section, where Luigi can get this one up if he's fast enough by running ahead and catching it before it falls into this pit. And after building out more of the level, like this spot here and this section, we have the clapping Chuck. This version of Chuck doesn't charge Luigi the moment he's in range. Instead, he tries his best to mirror Luigi's jumps in an attempt to block him from passing. This looks great, but once again, we could just walk right past him in 3D. So I gave our boy the ability to strafe along the path while still trying to get in between Luigi and the exit gate. And if Luigi manages to jump on his head, he forgets all of that and starts charging again.
That's smart.
All right, thanks for watching.
This is fantastic. Now, Nintendo's not going to sue them. They'll probably do a cease and desist.